All right, beautiful. It's actually Tony Hedges as we speak. Hey YouTube, I'm here just to we're going to be running a seminar today on the way hedge funds actually monitor their trades. And I actually have a quick question that was Tony Hedges. So I'm going to ask him a quick question because there's two strategies really I want to give you the best one. One strategy is used for more swing trading, and one is used for more day trading. So I'm going to get right into that. Okay, cool. So let's get out of this. All right, breakout trading. This is the hedge fund strategy. And I have the website there, which when the time comes, it'll be awesome because you'll be able to go to that. But right now, I know it's under construction. Uh, Let me go live on Facebook. Hopefully this works. Okay. All right. I got the best strategy. He just says confirmed for day trading, which is better. And I also have the swing trade strategy as well. We're going to go live right here. We're going to add that. And we're going to paste that. And go live. All right. Good evening, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Easy Webinar. This is going to be a webinar on a strategy commonly used by hedge funds to basically figure out where the stock is at and where they should place their bids, where they should put their exits. It is not the pivot point strategy. It is similar to the pivot point strategy, but it is not the pivot point strategy. Let me change the mic here. Tell me if that's better. Test, 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 test. That should be a little better. But let's see. Better, better. Good. Okay. So there's four aspects of this, right? And two you need to know right away are volume and timing. And if it seems weird like that I'm like doing this right now and that I don't have it prepared, it's not. Okay? So volume it's volume and timing. Okay? So volume is pretty simple, okay? A lot of people don't realize that volume is the most important indicator or study on any single graph, and for a number of reasons. That's why it comes automatic on every single graph. I want to take a look at, say, any stock in the world. Anybody give me any stock? Go ahead in the group, and we're gonna analyze the Roku. Okay. All right, so we'll do Roku. Apple I actually already have up, but we'll do Roku first, and then we'll do Apple second. All right, Roku. Okay, all right. There's a lot of interesting stuff here, and I want you to focus mainly on the volume. Now, Obviously, when the stock has a major spike, the volume goes up, right? Like here's another one right here. The volume goes up. Um, note that the the what are these orange lines? I'm actually colorblind. The orange lines are more selling than buying that day, and the blue lines is more buying than selling. But it doesn't really matter. They're always going to go back and forth. So let's take a look. Clearly, we had some sort of uh, we were in a downtrend here, right? It seems definite downtrend. Volume definitely on the lower side, right? Um, and then boom, I remember this. We had an earnings report, and the earnings report was really good. Now, I'm going to zoom out just so you can't see this volume anymore, right? And the volume seems a little choppy, but it is fairly strong. When the market uptrends, you will see a strong positive display of volume. Now, when the market goes down, like as you could see here, it went down a little bit. The market, the volume trend kind of stayed the same. And if you looked at the 4 week daily average volume, you would probably see that it was about the same. And, that's just on a mild pop down. Now let's look here. We have an even bigger pop down. What happens to the volume on this kind of bigger pop down? It almost seems like it's decreasing a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden we get another good earnings report and boom, we pop up to this sort of level and the volume kind of stays the same. Uh, and then, volume starts to come down a little bit and it weakens just a tad, right? You can see that it's weakening just a tad. Look right here when we're uptrending, and then look right here when we're downtrending. The volume starting to weaken, especially right here. Um, and then boom, we have another really, really good earnings report, correct? And the volume is killing it. It's doing really good. It looks the same as it looked back here. And then here's where something's unusual. So the typical trend has been, the volume stays pretty steady when it goes up. Sometimes it has a little burst, a nice burst up, burst up here and a burst up there and a burst up everywhere. And then when Roku goes down, the volume decreases a little bit. That's perfectly normal. But then you get this, okay? We have a really strong uptrend, and the volume is not really that high considerably. If you look back to around what is that, March, April, around April, it's around the same. What strikes me as interesting and what should set off traders is on this red candle, right? We start to see really high volume. And then, it's downtrending and it's high volume and it's downtrending and the volume's higher. And then the downtrend and then the volume's even higher. And this is actually the more volume last Friday than this stock has ever seen in its existence that day, Friday. So that is not good on a downtrend. That essentially lets you know, okay, high volume when the market is going down usually is an indicator. This is an extreme example because Roku took such a dive, but it's works with anything. We could look at Apple and we would find the same examples. Okay, so understanding how to read volume, understanding what the volume is like on an average basis, and even going on websites like FinViz and finding out the average daily volume over a 4-week period, things like that will help you. So you could see that over here, it's ridiculous. The volume's just too much. Let's take a look at Apple. It's a little less volatile. Okay, so as you can see, I'm sure you guys noticed that. So there's a little, okay, let's not go over there yet. Let's start right here. So we got an uptrend and we got fairly strong volume all throughout this uptrend. And then we have a little bit of a downtrend, but the volume is relatively the same. You could say it's a little more elevated, but yeah, it is a little more elevated. You even have an average line there. But for the most part, it's fairly consistent all throughout. And then, even right here, all of a sudden, when we see this take a massive dive, and I think I remember when this was, is when Tim Cook came out and said that China's market for Apple is screwed and is really going to hurt us. You can see that this took a massive dive and volume went way over average. You actually have the average line right here on, so you can see that we're way above average. And even now, Apple seems like it's pulling back really hard. This might be the first, like, this is this is a lot of volume. So there is a high probability, just based on volume alone, that we had a red day and had all that volume. That's usually not a good sign. Usually that can mean that there's heavy selling. It could mean there's heavy buying, but given the circumstances that the stock is at almost all-time highs, I doubt people are trying to dive in at this point. This is a stock based on just the volume alone. I would be comfortable buying puts the second this moves across the moving averages. And you got, let's see. This is a EMA 13, and then the blue is an SMA 62. I need to change that. Those are odd numbers, but I guess that's Trade Ideas algorithmic numbers. So now we have a fair concept of volume. now, now that that's understood, I want to go over something else. So we got the idea of volume down, right? So we're going to put that down, volume, click to add text. When volume is higher on a downtrend, it is a bearish symbol most of the time. Most of the time. The only exception to that rule is when there's a reversal happening that day, and that's something you would see. You would see some kind of spinning top candle or something like that. But that's that. Next is timing. Okay, most market reversals happen between, does anybody know? No. Not 8 a.m. Most market reversals happen between sorry, Jason. We're talking Eastern time here. No, most market reversals happen. You ever notice how I always say, okay, the market's going to pop out the gate in the morning, and whichever direction it pops, it's going to end up going the other way? Don't I always say that whenever I'm trading the market? Why? It's because between 9 9:45 and 10:10 approximately and on average is when market reversals happen. That's why Tony Hedges will get into a stock. He'll average down, average down, average down, average down around this time period because it's expected that there will be some kind of reversal. And that's why I personally, I've been doing this subconsciously, will wait until about 9:45, 9:50, and if the market's going up, I'll buy my TVIX or I'll buy my UVXY calls. Is anybody having a problem with the video? All right, cool. All right, so maybe refresh. That usually works for most people. When they refresh, let me just make sure we're good here. Yeah. Okay. So we got volume down, we got timing down. This is when reversals are most likely going to happen in the market. S and P doesn't matter. S&P 500, S&P 600, S&P doesn't matter in the market, right? Usually that has an effect on all stocks. Now let's go ahead and do third. Okay. No, I need a bigger one for that. There we go. Okay, so third, and this is pretty big. This is placement and studies. Now you're going to want to stick around until the end because that's where we go over price channels, and that is the best part. This is the part that will change your trading. Studies. I don't know why I just had a moment like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see here. All right, so let's find a blank chart, shall we? Reset. You know what? Do I need Thinkorswim for this? No, because I'm not going to do stochastics. I'm not going to do TTM. I'm not going to do CCI. I'm going to do the most basic ones, and those come standard on this website anyway. So your best friend for this, for a free service, is stockcharts.com. Same place we look up our pivots. So if you have a second monitor or whatever, you can go to stockcharts.com. And I want you to take a look at, yeah, let's do it that way. Let's go to stockcharts.com. And I want you guys to pick out what were some big winners on Friday. Give me some big winners we had on Friday. What's the reason for the reversal at this time frame? Historically, that's just what it's been, and it's an estimate between those two times, and that is a factual thing. You can invest the PD it, but that's when a market reversal is most likely to happen within that period. I think it's because of all the uncertainness and the market's still trying to figure out which way it's going to go or whatever. Okay. Yes. Uh, a stock, guys. Any stock that was a winner. By the way, guys, when we get to that, yeah, on Friday. Nobody remembers what was a winner on Friday? Okay. Oh, I could just look at my chart here. All right. So we got SCHL. I remember I really wanted to trade this one, but Tradenet blocked it. So let's take a look at SCHL first. Where'd you go? I lost you guys. Testing, testing. Yeah, there should be a volume thing on the thing. Is everybody else's volume okay, or is Corey the only one? Yeah, don't know why they blocked it, but they did block it, and it would have been it would have been a trade. A lot of people would have got screwed on, and let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it on the daily first before we do anything on the intraday rather. So if you take a look at scholastics, it dumped out the gate. That's why you constantly hear Tony Hedges use the word bid, bid, bid. Put your bid here, put your bid here, put your bid here. He only likes to play limit orders, limit orders, limit orders, which is the opposite of a breakout. What's the opposite of a breakout? Is, damn it, why can't I remember? There's a technical term. I guess you could say pullback, but that's not the technical term. All right, so you can see here Scholastic dumped out the gate to 38 and ended up shooting all the way up to almost 41.50. Okay, so 38.60. That's a huge gain. So let's take a look at a few things here, okay? So what have we learned so far? Volume. Well, I'll let you know ahead of time that this stock's volume was way ahead of its average daily volume. I think Scholastics was up on earnings. Yeah, it was up on earnings. And it even hit a pre-market high of 42. So we know that we had a dip and then a pop. And we seem to see this happen a lot whenever we get stock picks from the hedge fund. And a lot of people get in right away here and get screwed. And the only thing you can do is average down, average down, average down, average down, average down. Okay. So let's take a look at this. I want to add in studies, add study. Okay, MACD. Now, the MACD is when the lines are yellow, it's doing well. When it's green, they're doing, it's coming down from a peak. And then you have these like red lines, which means it's doing bad. Burgundy means it's kind of coming back up. Yellow means it's kind of soaring. And you can see you got these two lines underneath. And these two lines will signify whether or not there's going to be a reversal. So as you can see, there's these two lines. This bottom line is crisscrossing with this other line right around here. And this seems to be where the beginning of the reversal to the upside happens. So literally the MACD, which is placement and or studies, we're going to call it placement. You know what? We're going to call it studies. The reason I call it placement is because of the bullish and bearish signals and divergences which they can give us. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with calling them studies. So you can see here the lines intersect. This thing is all the way to the bottom, and then there's another study like I said, I don't want to go over, I want to go over the more easy studies first. That I think is very important. And that study, and you can see we got volume here. Um, Volume not great on this stock until later in the day. See, right here, the volume fades as the stock goes down, which is good, which is normal. If there was heavy volume when the stock was going down, I would not like that. But then you could see later on throughout the day, the volume picks up somewhat, not too much. You have to remember this first candle is almost 60,000. So if you zoom out, the volume actually kind of seems kind of flat all day because of how big that first candle was. But if you looked at the volume this day compared to other days, you would see that it was much, much higher. Okay, so yeah, that's typically how the MACD works. You can literally watch the MACD, wait for reversals, and then you can say, okay, boom, here's a crisscross, and it's headed up. Beautiful. Okay, it's crisscrossing again. What's happening? What's happening? Nope, it went back over. It's still going up. It's still going up. And then wait, what happens right here? That blue line goes over that, whatever that is, a green line, and what do we start to see? Start to see a lot of red, a lot of burgundy, all indications that the stock could be coming down, and it kind of did go up and down from there. So the peak was at this level here. Okay, now that you understand that, and I also want to show you one more study, add study, edit studies. And if you don't have Thinkorswim, you can download it for free by going to tdameritrade.com, opening up an account. You don't even have to put money into it, and they will literally just let you download Thinkorswim. And I have multiple videos on how to set it up, or you can literally just, I can send you my setup and you can plug it in and it'll work. This next one is RSI. RSI literally stands for, what's I don't know the acronym, but what's oversold, registered as volume. What does RSI stand for? What does R Relative strength index? Okay, so the relative strength index. Thank you, Santos. You already knew it. You could see it's looking pretty weak here. We know it's undersold, and when it goes below the 40 line or 30 line, I believe it is, and above the 70 line, that means that it's completely oversold or completely overbought. So here you can see it's definitely oversold. You got MACD conditions pointing to the downside, and then boom, you got this crisscross, and boom, now we're no longer in the oversold. Now we're making moves, and now we're going up. But all this aside, this is very easy, typical technical analysis chart reading. You could also say that, hey, there's a massive engulfing candle here. That alone is enough for me to be like, hey, there might be an uptrend coming my way. Let me check. And then you see, okay, boom, boom, boom. It's definitely a bull flag because the flag never went under the pole, and then it pops again. So that might be a good indicator to come in. That, along with the RSI, the MACD, all great initiatives to get in. But I still haven't answered the hardest question. Like, how do you know when to get in? Like, how do you know when to get out? How do you know when enough is enough? And yeah. So next we're gonna go to Well, there's actually something called simple moving average envelope or moving average envelopes. And there's a point where, okay, so let me give you an example. I'm getting a little sidetracked just because you brought that up, Jason, but let's see. Let me find a stock that has moving average. This chart has moving averages. Okay. So you can see that we have a 200-day, a 50-day, a 20-day, and a 9-day. A 9-day moving average is the most important for a day trader. These are exponential, and there is a study for moving average envelopes, but there's a way you can do it yourself. Now I want you to see something here. If ever this is too wide apart, but if ever you see all your moving averages come together, kind of like they are here, right? You see how they all come together in a little bitty line, like nah, they're not close enough. They need to be just a little bit closer. But once all these moving averages come together and the stock is on top, that is a great swing trade. Okay. If it stays like that for a few hours and it's riding on top of all of those moving averages, that is a great swing trade. Stay in that trade. Now, in this situation, you can see when they kind of all come together, it's choppy. For a second, it goes above, but for the most part, it stays below when they all come really close together, and essentially it takes a massive dump, as you can see, right? Um, so if ever you're watching your charts and all your moving averages start to come really close together and you notice that your candlesticks are on top of those moving averages and like strong and don't come down and hang out down below for a little bit. I'm talking strong, okay? Obviously, take into account whatever else you have to take into account, how close it is to a 52-week high, if there's an earnings report coming up, but those tend to make really good swing trades. It's confusing to say if what always works. I don't understand. The 10 and the 20? Right. Yeah. No, studies are not. They do not work 100% of the time, and I'm not saying that. So I should make that clear. They do not work 100% of the time. Some people live by studies, and other people basically don't use them at all. You know what I'm saying? Um, my mentor Marvin doesn't really use studies at all. He uses volumes, technical analysis, and chart patterns. That's it. So studies don't always work. But you know what? But I just don't like. Let me see. All right. So anyway, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and continue. But as you can see, how it was kind of like staying below, staying below, staying below, and then it finally broke down. Which one is this? CRC? All right. Gonna move on to. Let's see. Let's move on to the main event. That's what we're all here for. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull up stockcharts.com, like I said. Stockcharts.com. Now, what we're typically used to looking at is pivot points, right? So, hey, Coco, how are you? All right, so what we're typically used to when we use this site looking at is pivot points, and I'm still a strong fan of pivot points. I still believe in pivot points. I follow them nonstop. Jesse Livermore, who was the greatest trader of all times, let me just show you here. He believed in pivot points, basically were like gold for an investor. There you go, the pivotal points. And so he's a multi millionaire, which meant he was a billionaire because that was in the 1930s. And he relied solely on pivot points. No, not solely, but a lot on pivot points. And pivot points are a study. So to say that studies don't always work is just not 100% accurate. They don't work 100% of the time, but to dismiss them is just, especially when I'm doing a webinar on studies, to dismiss them. Yes, they don't work 100% of the time. Absolutely not. But I'm about to show you one that is going to blow you away. And here we go. I need a stock. Stock. Roku again? All right, we'll go to Roku again. I'm so mad on Roku because I sold out too early, too many times, and then I accidentally held it long overnight. But what I've learned, I may be okay. All right, so what I want you to do, and I want you to remember this. Excuse me. Uh, Go ahead and go down to where it says simple moving average and change that to price channels. Change that price channel to 50. And then the second one, I want you to change it to price channels. Change that one to 100. And then the third, this is more for day trading. Even swing trading, you could use this for, I guess, price channels. And then the last one is 200. Okay, boom. RSI and MACD, you could leave on since we just learned about it. And let's see. Um, Predefined range 780. No, you know what? We don't even have to touch that. We don't even have to touch that. Just hit any of the update buttons. Okay. And you're going to get a chart that kind of looks like this. All right. If you're following me, let me know. Is anybody following me, or you're not? You don't have the ability because you want to remember that algorithm: price channel, price channel, price channel, 50, 100, 200. Good, very good. All right. This basically tells you everything you need to know. Okay, not everything. You can use this in conjunction with pivot points, and let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. So right here, you have a price channel. Okay. Now, this price channel says that Roku could essentially hit 101.43 and bounce off of it, right? Then, if it passes 101.43, it's likely going to go to 96. Okay. It's unlikely to see this go below 96 based on this price channel chart. Okay. Now, if you look, let's see here. If you look at Thursday, look what happened. Thursday, it actually went up, right? It went up on Thursday? Oh, yeah, it did go up on Thursday. It went up, but where did it hit? it only hit the price channel at 136.27, right? And then the next day, gap down, blew through the 119, which I do remember us hitting resistance at that day. And the next level we really have to watch is the 101.43. It is definitely headed for that level, in my opinion. Now, let's also take a look at some of the things down here. What do we got down here? We got our MACD, right? And I don't know why I don't see the RSI. Where's the RSI? I did add the RSI. Oh, it's above. And I just got some information from Tony Hedges on a stock, two stocks actually, that they're going to play tomorrow. Okay, so you can see that the RSI is very close to the oversold position. It's at 31. Anything below 30 is considered heavily oversold. And in quite some time, it hasn't gone below 30. So I think that there's a high. Oh, what happened? I screwed something up. Yeah, I deleted the price channel of 100. Now, let's take a look real quick. What the heck? My whole thing reset. That's messed up. All right, price channel, price channel, price channel, price channel. 20, 50, 200, update. And there we go. So that's what I think. I think we're probably going to hit that 101.43 and we're going to bounce from there. Now, you can always do this just to see, like, let's see. Let's go to stockcharts.com again. Let's put Roku back in, right? Let's change the thing to predefined range. We're going to look back 1 year, size 780. And we're going to leave the SMAs on and we're going to do pivot points, update. So now I have a really, really good view of what I'm looking at here. The next pivot point is all the way down at 76.26. I just don't see that happening. We did definitely break through the resistance line that was holding this up, but I think that it is possible we could pop back up at 101 for sure. So now we have two views. So let's take a look at, I want to take a look at SCHL, right? That was that first one we were looking at, okay? So here's SCHL. Look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. This is the accuracy that I hope you stuck around for. So if you remember, as well, look at the candle here. If you look at the candle, it shot down to the price point of 38.63 and then shot up to 41.14 and then closed around here, right? Actually, I think it shot up to, yeah, no, it opened. That's the high it hit. Yeah, so it shot up all the way to 41, but that's where it's open. That's where it opened, and that's where it closed. But look at that. Look at how that hit it to the T. Okay. Now let's look at the pivot points on SCHL. And let me mind you, hedge funds, including the ones that are like SAC Capital, which is more of an investment firm, but they do hedge funds. They do manage hedge funds. They use price channels, what I'm teaching you right now, as like a given, as like a must. You know, it's like they don't go a day without checking out the price channels on things. So the pivot points are really irrelevant to this one, but if ever you find a stock where pivot points and price channels line up, that's a hell yes. That's a technical hell yes. And then you want to look for other things to make it juicy, like it's up on earnings, it's about to break its 52-week high, it's got a low float, its volume is 3 times the average volume. Um, so yeah, it didn't really do anything with the pivot points, but it's clear what happened here, right? You can see SCH. No, not this one. The heck is going on? Where did I put the SCHL? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so here's SCHL. Look at that. It literally went to the bottom of the price channel, 38.68, and bounced. And where is it? Literally went to the bottom and bounced, and look where it shot up to. It shot up right to the next price point. So if you're talking about, hey, I need a stock that I really like Scholastic, but the price is not right. I need an entry. I can't just jump in this thing willy-nilly. Well, you put in a bid. You see that this is at 38.63, right? Well, it hit 38.68. Your 38.63 would have missed. But you obviously would have been cognizant. You would have been there. You would have been like, damn, it bounced right on the price channel. Okay. And then maybe you would have got in at 38.72 or whatever it was. But even at 38.72 all the way to 41.14 where it went, and you even might have sold it before 41.14. You might have, you know what I'm saying? Or at 41.14. This actually went above 41.14 and went to about 42. So that's just one example. It puts supports resistance in a way, but it's more than that. It's these price channels, the 200, the 50, the 100. Those algorithms are actually a moving average. So they're basically finding the moving average of a price channel on a flat plane, not on a curvy plane. And don't forget, you can always use things like the RSI to help you and the MACD to help you. And you could see here that, it really was of no help. It was at a flat point. But look what happens to be a little ridiculous today. You know what I'm saying? Volume, volume, volume. The most important indicator of them all. Look at that volume. Okay? So again, we go to volume, time. Let's go back to time. Let's go back to time. What time do markets generally make their first reversal movement? Yeah, the range between 9:45 and 1:10. So if that's when they make their first reversal movement, let's take a look at Scholastics. Right when it makes its reversal movement, what time is that? 9:47. And then 10:10 is over here, where you pretty much have it confirmed that it is an uptrend. And guys, this is not a coincidence. You give me the next winner on Friday. Those are all at the bottom here. Oh no, no, no. That's my markets chart. Where's Scholastics? The next winner. Etsy was a loser. FNSR. Let's look at FNSR. FNSR. Okay. So let's see what happened with FNSR. Well, okay. So automatically, boom, volume, check. Okay. So Now we see that there's quite some movement going on here today. Okay, all my stuff got taken down again. Hold on. Price channels, price channels, price channels. 250, 100, update. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Is this not beautiful or what? Do you guys not see what's happening here? So FNSR, it opened at around this, it opened at a price level. So you got to ask yourself, is this thing going to dump or is this going to pop? Because it literally opened right at the price level of, should tell you right here, around 24.36. Okay, so FNSR, it's got incredible volume. I'm pretty sure it's up on earnings or something. I don't know what it was up on. It was up on something good. FNSR just popped out the gate. But remember, it was right at what? 24.36 was the bottom of the channel. So when that happens, let's follow it through. So you get a nice pop, boom, where? To 25, right? So boom, it pops up to 25.14. And then I would have sold or at least taken my partial at 24.47 at that point. Now, let's see what happens from this point on. It just kind of goes down. But you can see that it opened right at the price point, popped up to another price point, which is actually right around here. And I want to show you something. You notice the resistance. You notice that's the first resistance was right at that second price point at where is it? 24.77 is literally when it hit its first resistance. So yeah, that's when it had its first two red candles. That is probably when I would have sold it. I probably would have bought this out the gate, but that's not enough. I can't say I probably would have bought this out the gate. It all depends. If the stock is soaring out the gate, you go with it. If it dumps out the gate, you are no longer looking for a breakout play, you're looking for a pullback play. So in that scenario with FNSR, that was a straight breakout play. That broke out straight out the gate, and I love those. And everything was right here for you. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what the FNSR pivot points were at. Wow, it keeps changing my thing. I think I can't use two at once. I think I need to use like it on incognito or something. But you could see here, it's above the R1. I love it. So in my mind, this is either popping down to 23.82 or breaking out to 25. So the pivot point is what would have told me, hey, this is going to 25. All right, either it's going to 24.77 or it's going to 25. Yeah. So it's a good way to read stuff. Give me a stock. Let's check out on YouTube. Anybody want to give me a stock? Stock, stock. No, no stocks. AMD. AMD is a very flat stock. I mean, not lately, but I'd rather not use AMD. Yep. I gotta put all this shit back in again. Oh no, it's here. Yeah, AMD. I wouldn't even. If I see this, I'm uninterested. There's nothing going on. There's no volume change. It's just literally nothing happening. Oh, and I want to go back real quick to FNSR real quick, because what did you notice about FNSR that I forgot to bring up? Let's see if anybody can pick it out. I'll look at all of them. But first, somebody's got to pick out something with FSNR. The volume was already way above the average. Reversal time. It literally reversed right just at about 9:45, maybe 2 minutes before that, you could say. But 9:45 was the reversal time. So it had its pop, it's had its reversal time. It was sitting right on a price channel and broke out. It's just incredible. And let's see. I know I made one with just MACD and RSI. What did I do with it? Studies, add study, MACD, RSI. MACD. So you can see that the lines start to intersect and go down. That's just another indicator that, hey, right at 9:45, it's starting to go down. And another one would obviously be, I'm sure the RSI was overbought at this time. Yeah, RSI is overbought over the 70 line, and it starts to come down with the MACD. And also notice the decrease in volume. That's it, guys. Volume, timing, studies, we're going to call it. We're not going to call it placement, but studies. And then your confirmation is your price channels and your pivot point. So let's see. What are something that you wanted me to? Let's see. I'm gonna go through them all. AMD is one of those ones for me. I'm just not interested, man. If it pulled back to 27.65, I would buy them the hell up. But this is a slow mover, man. It stays between 27 and 33. Uh, what was the next one? Apple, we looked at, I think. AAPL. Apple's another bad one. I don't think Apple's any good. Yeah, Apple, you're going to hit this 26. Let's check volume. Volume is increasing on Apple. We looked at this one already. Apple almost looks like it's ready to come down a little bit, which, or it'll hit this 26 or 226 mark, and the channel price will rise, but there's nothing above it for this to go to. If we look at Apple on AAPL on the pivot point chart, I guess you could say, yeah, 231 this could potentially go to, which makes sense, but there's really nothing here. There's nothing strong. There's nothing. I don't like it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and look at the stocks that so far tomorrow. I just got this text from Tony Hedges literally minutes ago. And let's go check those out. So he likes, let's check it out. Check it out. All right, so we got our RSI. We got everything over here, HARP. Okay, HARP had a massive shot to the upside. Let's find out why. No particular news reasons for that movement, but I'm very skeptic. I don't like the volume. I would like to see the 5-day. Yeah, definitely a lot of volume. I don't like Harpoon. I don't know why he likes it, but let's take a look and let's see. So far, timing we don't know yet. Volume definitely increased. Okay. In terms of MACD, uh, definitely increased. You can see the lines crossed, and RSI is definitely elevated, but there's just no news, no nothing. That stuff is important to me. It's got to be a reason the stock goes up. All right, so let's punch it in on the thing here. HARP. Okay. So HARP is now at, you got to remember, it's not going to be here yet. Or is it? Wait, hold on, because it's closing day. It should. No, closing day, they don't have after hours. So we're up at 15. Uh, I gotta disagree with him. I don't like HARP at all. I don't see anything I like. And I don't even understand what that move was from. So I'm gonna ask him. And now I lost the volume. Test, 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 test. What do you see in HARP? Text Tony Hedges, what do you see in HARP? So let's take a look at the pivots. Maybe the pivots will change my mind. But so far, I don't like HARP at all. Uh, Up at 15. Okay, it's just shy of. I see what's going on here. I got this on wrong. 780. Predefined range 0, 1. Okay. So let's see. It's at 15. It's an IPO. It's a newer company. It's been testing the highs. I see a little bit of a triple top. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. It has a very big range. You could see that. It moves 2, 3 points a day. So that might be worth watching it. Um, yeah, for sure. Like it might pull back to this, what is this? Like 13 tells you up there, 1363, and then shoot up 17, but it's got to have a reason. And so far, I didn't see anything in the news. The other one that he sent out was PSMT. PSMT. Um, yeah, this is another one. Looks like it just shot up, but this one's actually holding. There's a continuation of some sort. NVT to join S&P 500, Jefferies Financial Group. IB joined. Okay, so it looks like PriceSmart is going to join S&P Small Cap 600. Huh. Okay. That can cause a move. So let's take a look. RSI, MACD is the highest I've seen it in a very long time. Volume, very high. Let's go out a little further. Yeah, MACD is the highest in 20 days. We're very close to a 52-week high, about $1.20 away. So let's punch this in. PetSmart might actually, what is it? Print Smart? Price Smart. Yeah, PetSmart's already PSMT. Okay, so we're currently, where are we? We are at 6501. Not much range here, so we are above the R2. Um, my play here, without looking at the price channel, would be a breakout play above this level here. So I would find out what that level was just by going back to the chart, which I think was like 6650. Or I really would rather have a pullback play to a price channel. PSMT. Okay, so we know we're at 65. We could hit this channel 66. And there's a 200 channel at 67. 90, 68. So it has room for a $2 move. See, this is where you have to use bigcharts.com because it's not showing you, but I can see right here there's another price channel at 67.90 that it's not showing. So around 68. So it could go from 65 to 68, but then again, isn't that awfully similar to my other play? No, my other play is a pullback to 64. It's just not clean to me. I don't like it. I'm not in love with it. I could play it, but it's not as clean to me as I would like it to be. Let's see. What else we got going on? Any other suggestions? Stocks? I want to look at OSTK just out of curiosity. Okay, so OSTK looks like it hit a price channel here, and that price channel is at 1472. And you can see it already bounced off of this once. I'm not sure what's going on with this company news-wise or fundamental-wise, but a lot of heavy selling on the volume side. That's got me a little worried. Its average volume is like around here. Now there's a huge influx in volume. We've hit a price point. Let's take a look at the pivots on Overstock. Okay. So if we can bounce up there, the P is at 19, and then you also have a price channel entry at 19. So there's a high possibility that this could pop up from 14 to 19, maybe in 1 or 2 days, possibly even in one day, if it doesn't break. Now, we will find out if it breaks tomorrow, but I like this as a potential play, and I'm going to add this to my charts. I like its price. It's what's going on with it? There's something going on with this company that I can't remember. OSTK news 13 with a short squeeze potential. This is voted with one of the biggest short squeeze potentials, and it actually looks like it's about to have a short squeeze potential. You have the spinning top. That candle's called a spinning top because it looks almost like a dreidel, followed by another red candle. Yet it has a high tail. This is getting ready for a reversal right on the price channel, and the price channel told me that. Where's its target? 1935, because that's where the P happens to be, and it's also where the price channel happens to be. This is a play you want to play. CEO sold a bunch of shares, and then the other CEO claims he was hired by the government to like assassin the Russians or something. I know the company's crazy. They deal in all Bitcoin, but company's fundamentals has never really meant much about their stock price. I see that there's a potential pop on this one. Um, it's definitely ready for a short squeeze, and I wonder if Roku's on that short squeeze list. Because we know where Roku's headed. Roku's either headed to 101.10 or 96, or let's see, Zoom, uh, Canopy, Overstock, Tilray, CrowdStrike. Ooh, Roku's not even on here. Ugh. Put City, baby. Uh, all right, so now is the point where you ask me any questions if you don't understand anything at all. I'd be glad to help you. And that's YouTube as well. If you have any questions at all, I'd be glad to help you. Tailored brands I may look at. Um, okay, so no questions. Uh, well, guess what? I have questions for you. Um, that's fine, Coco. There is no range for pivot points. It's just pivot points. I think you're getting price channel. Price channel, pivot points we've been using forever. So for pivot points, which are these things right here, which are very accurate. As you can see, look at Overstock. Boom. It likes to play by the pivot point rules. It hit that R2 and came right down. So, and if you're going long, you typically want to play the P or higher. What was new today that I taught were these price channels. And these price channels, I would almost guarantee that we see a pop to the upside Or, let me see, 14. If it doesn't break through, this will go all the way down to 896. That's quite a move. There's actually two price channels that meet at that level. I think that's like an all-time low or something. So, what you have to do essentially is watch the volume, watch the timing, watch the studies, see if everything cosigns, and then wait for the confirmation. Because stockcharts.com gives you everything for free, and try putting in price points and pivot points on thinkorswim. I mean price channel and pivot points on thinkorswim, and watch what happens. Yeah, you can adjust it and make it so it's not dots, but they're dailies, and even when you adjust it to the monthly, they're still dailies. So the pivot points on stockcharts.com are monthlies, which tend to be more accurate than dailies by far, even when you're day trading. Um, yeah. Oh, so like I said, I'll tell you both again, and you might want to take a screenshot of this if you can. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize that. This is for the pivot points. Predefined range, 1 year. I mean, this is for the pivot points, yeah. 780, boom. The moving averages are already there. You just have to make the last one pivot points, hit any one of the updates. And then this one is pretty simple. You can keep everything the same. You just want to go price channel, price channel, price channel, 50, 100, 200. And you could leave the RSI and MACD in there if you want. Um, or you could put it to none. Doesn't matter, either way. But other than that, guys, any other questions? Couple tips I would get. I'm talking a lot about volume, but not really going into depth into it. Volume is extremely important. I all too often will see people say, "Look at this stock," and I'll get a ticker, and it'll be a nice stock with an uptrend, and then I'll look at the volume, and it's like 100,000. So please do not ever trade stocks that are only have 100,000 shares in volume. I don't care if it went from $3 to $5 or $3 to $50 million. Mm, I have a question, more of a true or false. Moving averages create strong support and resistance lines. Yep, True. Major moving averages such as I like the 9. The 9 for day traders is very important. Uh, 20, 50, 100, 200 day moving average act as strong support and resistance lines. Okay. Another question. It just came to my tip of my head and it was really good. Um, Tip of my tongue. That's how you know I'm getting tired. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. When volume increases on a pullback, when a volume increases on a pullback, no, that's an easy one because we went over that. Mm, okay. Let's say a stock breaks out. A stock breaks out and it has increasing volume on the breakout, and then it reverses and starts going down, but the volume continues to increase as well. What does that mean? I should put them in more yes or no answers. Um, no, what does that mean? If on a pullback, on a breakout, when it finally reverses, the volume continues to increase on the pullback. What does that mean? Get the hell out. Going down. Pretty much, you were pretty much right. So think about it. If a stock has a huge pull up and is massive, think about what's actually going on. The stock is shooting up and the volume is shooting up, and then it starts shooting down. It reverses, but the volume's shooting up even more. That means get the hell out, pretty much for sure. And yeah, very much because for multiple reasons, but one might be somebody might have been holding that stock for 10 years, and now all of a sudden it had a big pump and dump in it, and now they're selling. So that's just extra activity that you don't want. I'm going to take a one look that I told you I wanted to swing, and one of them is definitely I want to look into overstock tomorrow, and that level is 1472. No, 1472. See, over. It's got such big fluctuations, and if it short squeezes, it's going to make a big move. OV, OSTK rather. OSTK 1472. All right, so that is the bid level. Well, first we got to see that it doesn't break, so I wouldn't put a bid there. Um, and then let me see. Oh yeah, this is the one for the people. PRPCL. Ooh, it's at the top. It's at the tippy top. Actually, 44 is the tippy top. But I did call this as a buy back when it was 14 cents. And now it is at 38 cents. But this looks like it's getting ready to rip. Might buy like a few thousand shares of this. It goes to a couple bucks. PCF. It's above its R2. Its 52-week high is around 50. This is one that's getting ready to do something crazy here, but we'll keep an eye on it. At 14 cents. You weren't around. I was pushing this big when it was like 14 cents. And I think like almost no one held it except like two people. Two people held it. Wait, look at this. You got the moving averages crossing just now. This is gonna be really. This could take off to 50 cents. You could at least make or even 60, 70 cents. Make 100% on it. Not Tradenet, of course not. It's a penny stock. Think or swim. That's what platform. All right, guys, I am out. I will see you tomorrow. Hope you understood everything. You had the opportunity to ask, and I am out. YouTube, peace.